Hello, everyone, and welcome back to It All Starts With a Wish podcast. My name is Rachel.
And I'm Mark.
And it's getting a little warmer.
Yeah.
Outside.
Not really.
A little bit.
I guess.
Well, I won't bring up the groundhog again.
It's still winter.
It's
no,
still
please
winter.
don't bring up the groundhog. I don't think people have recovered from the groundhog.
That's
from
all right.
last time.
Well, we're moving on to a resort review today.
We are.
And a little different than our last few. We are now not in the deluxe category anymore.
We are not. We're skipping over moderate, in fact.
We are skipping over moderate. Well, this one in particular, I feel like can be on the higher end of the value. So it is more than the All-Stars.
This in art of animation,
right.
I think Pop Century and art of animation would be value plus.
Well, you just gave it away. Today, we're talking about Pop Century Resort. Not art of animation.
I would consider those two, though, to my point, like a value plus. Like, it's not quite...
You're not quite moderate, but you're not quite value. You're somewhere in between there.
Yes.
But technically, you're under the value category.
Yes.
If you were looking this resort up.
Mm-hmm.
Or booking it. So, I have to say, I have clients that have stayed here and want to stay here over and over and over again.
Mm-hmm. And we've stayed here.
And we have stayed here a few times.
Maybe. At least once. Maybe twice.
Oh, okay. Maybe, you want to know why? We visited. We've gone and just
We've stayed at Art of
around.
Animation a few times.
Yeah.
And so I think kind of those two, they blend
They're
into
next
one.
door
Yeah.
to each other. But yeah, there are so many good reasons, and I'm glad we're going to talk about them today, that makes this kind of that happy medium for a lot of people, for price and for accommodations, amenities, and everything.
Yeah, for sure. So just to remind folks what we rank resorts by when we do resort reviews, in case this is your first resort review. If it is, well, just turn this off and go back and listen to the other ones, or finish listening to this and then you'll have to go back. And that's probably the better one.
Probably better.
Yeah, finish listening to this one, then go back and listen to the other ones. We rank on a scale of 1 to 5 based upon location and transportation options, theming, rooms, restaurant, food availability, food options, and pools and amenities. So those are the 5 categories. Yep. 1 to 5. 1 being do not suggest, 5 being excellent. Can't be any better.
Yeah.
Perfection.
Which, I mean, there are some resorts, if you go back and listen to the other resorts, they do get 5s in some of these categories. Mm-hmm. However, I do think there's always room for improvement.
Sure.
No matter where you go.
Sure. Also worth noting, a lot of the other ones, I think almost all the other ones that we have ranked have been either DVC outright, like Old Key West, or have had DVC options at that hotel. So there being
Animal
DVC
Kingdom and the Beach Club.
sections, Disney Vacation Club, for those of you not in the know, there being Disney Vacation Club sections of that hotel.
Yeah. Like buildings, separate from the main building.
Yes. This hotel, all of the values and all of the moderates do not have Disney Vacation Club sections. It is only rack rate you're paying per night, no Disney Vacation Club option whatsoever.
Nope.
At any of the moderate or value resorts.
Yep.
What would a night at Pop Century run you?
So you're looking for a night at Pop Century, you're looking at around $230
A night.
a night.
And that fluctuates based upon seasons.
Time of year, festivities, holidays,
Right.
weekends, all of that kind of stuff.
But somewhere in that range of maybe high 100s to mid to upper 200s. Somewhere
right,
in that
and
range.
looking at, like, I looked particularly in, like, mid-May for that rate, and the All-Stars are at $184. So you're going a little up from there, $231.20 to be exact. But yeah, so that's why we said it's a little...
So $50-ish more than an All-Star, but
And
not quite
I
as
feel-
expensive as an Art of Animation, nor as expensive as a moderate resort.
Right.
And certainly not as
Right.
much as the ones that we reviewed.
For rack rate,
Deluxe
no.
resorts being like upwards of $800 a night.
Right.
So relatively affordable option here, being Pop
Yeah.
Century. So first category is location and transportation. How do you feel about location and transportation?
So out of the value resorts, this is a very, very good option for location and transportation, in my opinion. You have the Skyliner, which is for that extra $50 a night worth it, in my opinion. So you have the Skyliner there. You can take to Epcot or Hollywood Studios. You can also get off and gallivant and do all other kinds of transportation if you wanted to like get off at the beach club, then have lunch or something, and then take a boat over.
Sure.
All that kind of stuff.
Your most direct route to Epcot
Skyliner.
and Hollywood Studios, though, being the Skyliner.
Buses for the rest.
Compared to other Valley resorts where only buses are the
Just
only
buses.
option, it gets you to 2 out of the 4 parks in an easy, what I would argue as an easier and less pain in the butt manner.
I think so. And the rides aren't that horrible as far as the bus rides. You don't have to stop at every All-Star like the All-Stars tend to do. So you're just at Pop Century. So one resort that you have to worry about. And you're really close to Disney Springs.
You are relatively close to Disney Springs.
Compared
You're kind
to
of
other
located-
ones.
the Riviera, Caribbean Beach, all of those hotels are kind of located roughly in the middle of Walt Disney World. Like when you actually look at a map,
They're pretty
they're actually pretty
central.
centrally located. So the bus ride
Which
to
is
Magic
nice.
Kingdom isn't that awful. And the bus ride to Animal Kingdom, which is kind of off on its own, even
Isn't really that bad.
isn't that bad because you are kind of centrally located.
Yeah.
So yeah, not awful when it comes to transportation compared to other value resorts where I would argue All Stars transportation options are not great at all.
Yeah.
This is better.
Yeah. Better. You're
Better
getting there.
location for the buses that you have to take, and you have that option of taking the Skyliner to 2 out of the 4 parks.
Yeah.
So what would you rank location transportation?
I'm going to have to give it a 4.5.
Wow, that high.
Why are you looking at me like I'm crazy?
Wow, that feels really high for me, but okay. Go ahead, explain yourself.
Well, no, now you make me feel like I'm wrong.
No, it's your opinion. Your opinion.
I just feel like for a value resort, that Skyliner option for those two things is a really big deal.
It is a really big deal, but I'm going to counter with a 3. I think this is average. This is middle of the road.
Okay.
And
Well,
the
can I
reason
just tell
why-
you that I was going to say 4?
Okay,
That was my first thing.
Sure.
And then 4.5 came out.
sure. That's fine. That's what you were feeling in your gut, so go with it. It's fine.
Okay,
4.5.
all right.
I'm going to give it a 3.
I have people who are probably not going to be happy
I
with that.
think that,
that are
this
listening.
is literally the middle of the road, right? This is
Yeah.
not All-Star. All-Stars, we'll do resort reviews of All-Stars. The transportation options there and the location of it compared to other things, not desirable at all. That's going to be a very low ranking for me. I'm just prepping people for that. This is not, though, a park where... This is not a resort, excuse me. This is not a resort like the Beach Club or the Boardwalk or the Contemporary where I can literally walk to a park.
Right.
I don't have to take any form of transportation to get to at least one park in those options. And the ways I can get to other parks, for example, with the Beach Club, I can take a boat to Hollywood Studios and not even have to worry about the buses. And it's still relatively centrally located, so the bus rides to Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom are not that awful. And if I really didn't want to take a bus to Magic Kingdom, I don't have to from the Beach Club because I can walk through Epcot and get on the monorail and take the monorail ride over there. So to me, like, that is the ideal for location and transportation. This middle of the road, I'm not taking a bus everywhere. It's relatively centrally located and I have other options than a bus. But to me, I can't walk to a park from either of these hotels.
All right.
I just can't. So I can't give it any more. This is average. This is middle of the road to me.
Okay.
3. Theming.
I feel like you're trying to convince me.
No. I'm convincing the public at large. You've already made up your mind. Theming.
No, maybe I hadn't made up my mind. I don't really know why 4.5 came out. My first gut reaction was 4. Can I veto it?
You want to change it to a 4?
Yes.
Okay, fine. 4. Gosh, go with your gut. Don't let other people influence
No,
you.
it was 4. My first one was a 4. I don't know why I went up to 4.
Okay, 4. Great.
Theming?
Theming.
5.
Explain yourself.
I really like this resort because, well, if you don't know, Pop Century is based on the 20th century particularly the decades between the 1950s and the 1990s.
Yes.
So each kind of building is a different decade.
Right.
So...
And it's based upon like that pop culture, that era,
yeah, movies,
that kind of
music,
ensues with the 1950s.
recreation, what we were into. I particularly like all the lingo that they have.
Groovy.
Yeah. All the different
In
things
the
that they
60s
used to
section.
say. Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
this is Valley Resort theming, so it's very in your face.
But it's
large
also not
characters.
like Mickey everywhere in your
Right.
face.
It's not.
But
No.
it's like larger than life theming as far
Right.
as like the hippy dippy pool, all those big flowers,
Right.
and like you're in the 60s and
Right.
flower power and all that
It's
stuff.
very much in your
But it
face
is-
theming of a Valley
Yeah.
Resort.
But I like it. I think it's done well.
Sure.
I like it more than the All Stars because I feel like it can be very kid esque, but also it's not so like cartoons in your face.
Sure.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
It's like
yeah.
a different kind of in your face theme.
So you like the big in your face theming. I'm going to give theming here a 3. I think again,
Oh my
this
God.
is average. It's middle of the road. I think I'm going to knock it for the lack of Disney theming. I like going to a Disney resort, and I do argue in other deluxe resorts, right, where it's not so in your face Disney, but it's those subtle hints of Disney. This just feels so in your face all the time and has nothing to do with Disney. If I'm going to have in your face theming, I want to see Mickey and Goofy and Donald everywhere. That's
Well,
just
I mean,
what I want.
they are there. It's not like you
I
can't
understand.
find
Yeah,
them.
There's a Mickey phone and like
Yeah.
other things that are large, oversized characters.
there's
But like
other
if I go to a place with that kind of theming, I want it to be very much in my face Disney. I want to see Disney characters. I want it to be big and in my face Disney, not just random
like the big
stuff from the
foosball
different
field?
decades. It's cool. Don't get me wrong. Again, I think that it's cool. There are some neat touches in this hotel. But to me, the theming is of a value resort,
Right.
It's that very big and popping theming that's meant to smack you in the face rather than be subtle.
Well, it is
to me-
pop century.
To me, I like that more subtle Disney theming in the deluxe resorts better than the smack you in the face Valley Resort theming. And if I'm going to get smack you in the face, I want it to be Disney. I don't want it to be random stuff from the different decades. With that being said, I'm not saying that it's bad theming.
Okay.
I'm just saying that it's average theming. It
I
just
get
doesn't
it.
live up to other things. Even in that category of value resort, I would argue that the theming at Art of Animation is better than at this hotel. So even within its own comparable thing, never mind comparing it to a Wilderness Lodge or something else, right? I just think it's comparable. That's all. I'm just saying it's average. 3 for me for theming. Rooms.
These rooms are really nice.
They are nice rooms.
They are newly refurbished.
As of like 2019, I think, right?
Yeah. But still, needed a really big update. It was resort wide. So like no more carpets, fresh modern look, like much easier to keep clean. They all have those Murphy beds, which
They
is a
do.
total space saver that turns into a table when you put it up.
Yeah,
Has that table
I
underneath
will
it.
say, like, that's a really cool addition because this Murphy bed, if you're not familiar with what a Murphy bed is, it's basically a built-in bed on the wall, but the bottom of it is a table. So when the bed is up on the wall, it's a table, and you can put your chairs around it. When you lower the bed, the table goes away and it just turns into a bed. So it's a real space saver.
It really is.
So it's a really neat
Especially because
addition
those
to
rooms
that
aren't
room.
huge.
Right.
There's a lot of them, and they're small
Right.
because
Right.
it's still in that
So
value
usually you'll
category.
have that queen-sized bed, which is just the bed, sits there. I like how, and one of our favorite vloggers always makes a point of this, and it's kind of funny.
The room
Paige and
underneath.
Mr. Morrow, the room under the bed. He'll literally crawl under the bed.
So much space.
But there is so much space, and that's a great space saver for putting your luggage underneath the bed, too. So there's little touches like that I think help to make these rooms, it pluses them a little bit.
It makes it
takes
feel a
an
little
average
bigger.
hotel room.
Yeah.
And especially in rooms that'll have a lot of little families or want space to move around, you have those options within this hotel. For a regular hotel room that just has a bathroom, and beds and a TV and a little mini fridge. Like, it gives
definitely
you that
gives it an
extra
upper
space.
scale feeling.
And most of the bathrooms, worth pointing out, that you'll have your sink outside with your mirrors, so that way people
Outside
can
of
be
the
getting
bathroom.
ready
Yep.
outside while someone's also using the john or taking a shower.
Yep.
So you can kind of have that divide there. So
Yeah, it's not
one
like
person
it's
isn't
all in
taking up
one
the
room
bathroom.
between mirror, toilet, and shower. If they shut the door, that's it. You are not allowed in. Both sinks, usually two of them, and a big mirror are right in between those two things. Right in that hallway, right in the middle.
Right.
So, definitely convenient when you have a lot of people getting ready.
It is.
Um,
What do you
for
rank in the rooms?
okay, I'll come down. Because I do think, compared to what you could get at other resorts and other things, this is a middle of the road, like a 3.
A 3. So I'm going to be a little more generous than you on this
Really?
one, actually. I'll say I'm not going to be overly generous, but I will give the rooms here a 3.5. I think some of those...
I'm thinking you're going to give a 4 or something. I'm not going to be
I think some of
overly, I'll
those
give them half a point.
additional touches, though.
Yeah.
Things like the Murphy bed, that space under the beds, the newly refurbished nature of it. I'm going to give it that 3.5 because I think that this is...
Do you like the whole modern look?
I don't
Not
love
really.
the looks, honestly. It kind of gets back to the theming that I'm not really a huge fan of. But I do like
But the upgrades are really
the
nice.
upgrades, and I like that additional space. So
More charging, USB ports everywhere,
Yes.
that kind of stuff.
yeah, I think that those updates really help in a big way compared to something like a regular all-star room.
That's true. That's true.
Restaurants and food. There's only one option for food.
And that's the food court.
And that is the food court. So this is very much a value resort in that sense that you have some pool bars. You have one pool bar by the main pool where you can get drinks and some smaller snacks and stuff like that. But then you have your food court itself with the different options and different places that you can get all different kinds of food. So there is a wide variety of food, but it is very strictly food court food. There are no other sit-down options or any other restaurants like you'll see at the deluxe resorts or even the moderate resorts where there'll be other options, sit-down options. You don't have that at this resort. Solely the food court. Also worth pointing out, and I will give this credit for this, you also have the pool bar at Art of Animation, which is just a short walk across the bridge, and the food court at Art of Animation as well. A lot of the similar food. I wouldn't argue that one food court is much better than the other.
No,
but there may be slight
maybe some
differences that you may want to go across the way.
I do have to say that as far as a food court does go, though, you don't have like different restaurants per se, right? You don't have different sit-down things.
Right.
But for a food court, there is quite a bit. I mean, even just for breakfast, there's like 10 different things you can get. Like you can just do pancakes and waffles. You can do some bounty platters. There's a whole bakery. There's a whole cereal section. There's a whole, like, there's all kinds of stuff. And then, obviously you have burgers and hot dogs and stuff like that. Chicken strips, grilled chicken, other sandwiches like barbecue pulled pork, meatballs, ham and cheese, pizza and pasta station, salad station, plant-based stuff.
Yeah.
And a lot of it, too, into that gift store section has a lot of grocery-esque items to buy, too. So, like, you can get, like, your mini muffins, your chips, your whatever. So you don't have to buy them, like, individually. You're buying, like, big bags.
Yeah.
Or, like, whole gallons of milk and, like, stuff like that, like, for your room. So, I mean, I'm going to go with a 3.5. Because considering it's all right at your resort, no, there's no restaurants. No restaurants at your resort. So I think that kind of bums me out when it comes to the dining, and that kind of bumped it down. But for a food court, there are some good options. Or variety.
Yeah, there's good
It's not
variety.
like you're just stuck with cheeseburgers.
Right. There is good variety
Yeah.
within it, but
Right.
it is still just food court
It
food.
is just quick service
Which
stuff.
is that middle of the road, which if you're going and you're going to get the counter service...
Yeah, the quick service dining plan.
Quick service dining plan. May be a good option for you, right? To me, this is a 3. Again, average, middle of the road. Nothing to write home about. I've never really not liked any food that I've gotten at this food court. But also, it's just food court food.
Yeah.
So good options, good variety, but nothing that's
I do have to say,
really
I do really
off.
like the pasta there. As far as they have really good chicken nuggets, like chicken tenders there too. But like nothing different that you wouldn't get at any other park. Like if you're going to get chicken tenders at the park, these are the same exact ones.
Right.
It's not anything. They're good though. I mean, as far as theme park hotel food, it's okay.
Sure.
They have that pizza delivery too, right?
They do, yeah. I think you can get pizza delivered to your room too as well, which is a nice touch.
Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah.
Order some pizza.
Last category is pools and...
I actually...
The light bulb just went on for Rachel.
It did, because I'm looking at the menu here for lunch and dinner, and they have a whole separate category for gluten and wheat allergy friendly, egg allergy friendly, fish and shellfish allergy friendly, milk allergy friendly, and peanut tree nut allergy friendly.
Nice.
Sesame, soy. That's it, sesame and soy. So they actually separate it because there is so much to choose from and stuff there, I guess, and they're going to have many different allergies. They list everything based on the allergy, so they group it together. So if you know you're only looking for a peanut allergy,
right,
or you're only looking for shellfish, don't have to, ask each person for each dish. It tells you every dish that's on there.
That is a nice
Which
touch.
is different than some of the restaurant reviews that we did, which we didn't ask your server, I don't really know, for like allergies and stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really convenient. I have to say that for being parents of a child with allergies, that makes me, it's a lot easier than, obviously we're going to ask if we need to.
Right.
But it makes it a lot easier if you can just go right on here and be like, oh look, this is what you can have. This is your menu.
That is nice.
And there's quite a few options.
Good.
There's like 10 to 15 in each one.
That's good.
So.
That's great.
Worth mentioning, sorry.
Mini points for that.
Mini points.
We'll add mini points. That. Pools and amenities is the final category. What do you got for pools and amenities?
I like the pool. It's not really anything to write home about, I think. I mean, it's a nice pool. It's kind of big, but it's not that big. But the theming is nice with it, but that's theming that doesn't go with the pool. 3.5.
3.5. I'm going to give this a 2.5.
Oh my gosh. Why? What's wrong with it?
There's nothing about it that's unique or exciting.
It's just
the pool.
Yeah.
It's a pool with a little bit of theming that fits into the decade.
Yeah.
But it's just a pool. There's nothing about that pool that like makes me go, oh wow, that's really cool, or that's interesting. Even Art of Animation, again, we see where Mark's leaning in this whole thing.
Yeah. Seriously.
Even Art of Animation, though, like, we'll go into this with the Big Blue Pool, but the Big Blue Pool, which is one of their pools, is really cool and kind of has a cool backstory and has cool theming, although they've got rid of some of it now. But, like, there's something there. These pools, there's a few of them at this hotel, too, similar to most values. There's not just one. There's your main pool right off of the main building.
Yep.
But then you also have your smaller pools. I think 2 additional smaller pools in this hotel as well. But all 3 of them, there's nothing to write home about. And there's not really... You have your arcade.
Yeah.
Right? Which is typical. You always have an arcade at these
hotels. You have,
hotels.
like, table tennis tables and, like, chess pieces and checkers that are big and stuff. But nothing, like, too crazy.
And again, I understand that this is a hotel that's geared to people who are probably going to spend most of their day in the parks.
Yeah.
So unlike Old Key West, where there's a lot of cool other things to do while you're at the hotel, not as much to offer at this hotel.
Yeah.
I get that.
Assuming you're not going to have a lot of
fundamentally, there is nothing about the pool and amenities at this hotel that make me go, wow, that's awesome. 2.5 to me. Like, this is even a little below average for me, the pool and amenity options at Pop Century. So I got to go with a 2.5. I think we're learning something about Rachel and myself. that I am much harder on the value and the cheaper things in Disney, and Rachel is much harder on the more expensive things. So that may
That's
be
actually
a general
funny.
theme that
That is funny.
Yeah.
Well, because you want
restaurants, hotels.
I don't know. Whatever. Maybe it's a trend. We'll see. But I don't know. I think if you're paying a lot of money for something, then
definitely,
I think you should be a little harder on them because you're paying a lot of money for it.
Absolutely. I do not disagree with you. I just think that the quality of things that you receive at that higher level is better than
I agree with that. Are you tallying up the scores already? Here he goes.
I am.
All right.
I have our final tabulations here. So I gave the following. Location and transportation, I gave a 3. Theming, I gave a 3. Rooms, I gave a 3.5. Restaurants and food, I gave a 3. Pools and amenity, I gave 2.5. That is a total of 15. You divide that by 5, that is a 3. Yep. So perfect average score as I intended it. I will say this again and again. This is an average hotel. I think for the value category, this is a great option. But all things being equal, I think that a 3 is fair.
Okay.
Rachel, you gave location and transportation a 4, theming 5, rooms 3, restaurant and food 3.5, pools and amenities 3.5. That is a total of a 19 divided by 5. That is a 3.8.
Okay.
How do you feel about that?
Good.
Think that's fair?
A little bit more than average.
A little more than average, but not quite a 4.
Right.
Not above average yet.
Not above average yet. But not just, maybe not the
a few ticks, yeah.
Yeah. Like you.
Hey, excuse me.
I'm sorry.
That was not even a good imitation of me. Anyways, I will say this. If you are in a value category, like that is what you can afford, there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No.
Totally okay. If I am picking a value resort to stay at, because that's what I can afford to stay at, this is probably the one I'm picking.
Yeah.
With the one exception of if you have a slightly larger family of, let's say, like 3 or 4 children, Art of Animation is probably where you want to go because they have the suites. But because these are all standard rooms, right, I think that they're slightly cheaper than Art of Animation rooms. And Art of Animation only has one section that is standard rooms, and that is the Little Mermaid section, and that is so far away from where the Skyliner and the main building and the main pool and where the buses leave from and all that stuff. I'm very hesitant to say that Art of Animation is
Art of Animation. If you're gonna do a suite, do a suite.
Right.
At Art of Animation. If you're gonna do just a room, you just need a room. Do Pop Century.
I think that is solid advice for anybody else. Yeah. And make sure when you book that room that you book through Rachel Mello, Mickey Travels.
Yep. I'm here waiting. I'm ready to go.
And she can help walk you through, because I think individual circumstances too will dictate like what is the better
individual
option.
Likes and dislikes. What do you prioritize? I have clients that don't plan on being at the resort and being in the room very often. So they're like, we're going to sleep there. It doesn't really matter. If we can save money, like, whatever. If they're more on the, we're only going to, 3 park days and we're there for 6 days. So we definitely want, like, a really nice pool area. We really want good recreation. Then obviously that is going to sway the different things. So we work together on that, Try to find the best fit.
Yes. So Pop Century. Average hotel, but a great option for a value resort.
It sounds awful.
If you have any questions or comments, feel free to follow us on our social media accounts and reach out through that platform. Or you can send us an email at startswithawish.podcast@gmail.com. And remember, folks, it all starts with a wish. We'll see you real soon.
Bye.